Fresh from the showcase here at SwissWatchExpo, and we have another incredible Apollo Edition Speedmaster that just came in. It is one of the most impressive ones I've seen yet, and I am going to tell you why right now. In 2019, which was the 50th anniversary of the famous Apollo 11 moon landing mission, you know Omega had to do something very special for it, and boy did they. I'm going to do the video a little bit backwards now because I'm going to have to address first this incredible packaging that it comes in, this incredible case. We do have a full set because this is a completely unworn edition, and boy does it just come with a whole lot of goodies. The first thing you'll notice, I guess I'll just break it down one at a time, you do get this wonderful looking loop which does mimic the actual look of the watch being inlaid with the ceramic Sarah gold. So this is a very, very impressive loop here, as well as a pair of mission patches. I believe these are supposed to be pretty authentic type of replicas from what was the original mission patch of Apollo 11, plus this Omega one here. This isn't a mission patch as well. It also comes with a Velcro strap, which I believe is a first for the Speedmaster. I've not seen one before, as well as a tool, the booklet. We also have all the original cards with it as well. And perhaps one of the most impressive things ever is the holder that this watch actually comes on is a mimic of the actual moon landing module here, which is incredible. I have not seen this before, so I think this is one of the most impressive NASA-based packages you're going to see, and you get everything that it originally came from with the factory with this set. Now, I'm sorry, I'm done gushing over the goodies that you get with it. Now let's get into the watch itself. This was again released in 2019 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of this famous moon landing. It was one of two watches they released. This one being the more traditional in steel with some gold accents, and then they did one in all 18 karat Moonshine Gold, which they call. I believe we've done a video on that, but sadly we no longer had that watch. It did not stick around very long. This one's a little bit more traditional, but like all limited edition Apollo missions, it shares a lot of similarities with the original moon watch and a lot of really interesting departures that make it interesting. The first thing you'll notice is the dial itself is a beautiful looking gray color. So this is sort of a moon watch without a black dial. That does make it pretty unique, especially amongst the NASA editions. I'll go ahead and take it off here to show you all of it. But the dial here is a beautiful matted sort of taupe gray color, which does blend beautifully with the black accents on both the subdials and the outer ring on the dial itself. One thing you'll notice here is at 9 o'clock, you'll have a special engraving, which is actually a replica of the picture of Buzz Aldrin descending the module wearing his Omega Speedmaster. One of the most famous pics from the lunar landing, and it looks absolutely incredible detail here on the dial. The fact that they were able to get all this detail in such a little tiny space on the subdial there, it's very special. And this is a super clean watch, 42 millimeter case, so very much like a traditional moon watch in that regard. One difference is this one is going to have a sapphire crystal as opposed to the traditional hezolite. I've done a lot of these videos, and at this point, if you get a new NASA watch or an Apollo watch, I honestly never know what kind of crystal it's going to come in. It's a toss-up. A lot of them have hezolites. A lot of them have sapphires. I definitely prefer the sapphire from a sheer durability standpoint, as this is a very special watch that you are going to want to keep in pristine condition, whoever is lucky enough to own it. Some more details about it. The movement in particular is something that's very different. They've actually upgraded, some might not call it an upgrade, to a caliber 3861. This is going to be very different in that it's probably the first Apollo watch that doesn't have either an 861 or an 1861 movement in it. The main upgrade is it is going to come with the coaxial escapement. So this is going to be a moon watch with probably the most modern type of Omega movement out of all of them. Now, because this particular movement hasn't been flight tested by NASA like the 1861 famously was, I think a lot of purists are going to balk at this a little bit and say, well, if it doesn't have that, how much of a moon watch is it really? Which is a fair question, but then again, this is a Speedmaster professional that's commemorating the Apollo 11 mission, so to me, I don't really think there's that much debate, but of course, a lot of people might argue otherwise. The movement is incredible, though. Coaxial movement is going to be a huge upgrade mechanically from the traditional one. Just hasn't gone through the exact same rigorous type of testing. On the back, we have another interesting detail here. Now, the 18 karat Moonshine Gold alloy that they made for this came with an exhibition case back showing that movement. Because this one is a limited edition Apollo, they went in a little different direction for the steel version, and this one is going to actually have Neil Armstrong's footprint or a picture of it on the case back. It is also going to have the famous quote, "One small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind" on the back, as well as the limited edition number of this watch. They actually made 6,969 pieces to commemorate the 1969 date of this famous mission. This is an incredible watch for a lot of different reasons. Another one is the bracelet, which I believe is a very unique one that I have not seen on any sort of professional Speedmaster before. Very reminiscent of a modern Aquaterra bracelet, where you're going to have a very flat profile here. Pretty flat, not a lot of rounded edges on either, and it's going to have a brushed center and a high polished outer. So in a lot of ways, sort of an inverted Aquaterra bracelet. So this is one, I think it gives it a very modern type of look. It's not going to look quite as vintage as a traditional moon watch, but then again, this was released in 2019, and it is meant to be a very special commemoration of the most famous Apollo mission. So of course, they had to do something to really set it apart from the others, and I think they did a fantastic job with this one. So this is a completely unworn, full set edition of what is one of the most special Speedmasters ever. It's been out of production for 2 years, so these are only going to get harder and harder to find. But of course, if you're not ready to quite step it up to the super limited edition Apollo watches, of course, we've got a ton of traditional moon watches and Omegas of all colors, shapes, stripes, and sizes. And of course, a ton of other brands too. So if you haven't subscribed to our videos, do it now. Check out our website and give us a call at SwissWatchExpo.com.